Hello everybody, my name is Brianna Bilo and I'm a meteorologist here with the National Weather Service office in Grand Junction, Colorado. And this is your fall 2022 seasonal climate summary. So before we move on, we're going to start off with a little bit of review. Meteorological fall is the months of September, October, November. It spells out sun, which I think is kind of funny. And December 1st marked the beginning of meteorological winter, which if you've caught my December 2022 monthly climate summary, you'll know that the month of December took no time reminding us that it was winter now. But we are not talking about winter yet. We are talking about fall. So, September, we're going to review our stories of the month. Then we'll go into some of the more fun climate data. September, record autumn heat. September started off hot. We had a strong area of high pressure that just stuck around for about a week. It wouldn't leave. We set several new record highs across eastern Utah and western Colorado. The hottest day of the spell was overall September 6th, where the Grand Junction Airport not only set a new record for the day with a high of 102 degrees Fahrenheit, but it marked a new record high temperature for any day of the month of September and also the latest occurrence of a 100+ degree day. Isn't that lovely? I'll tell you what, I was really happy when the hot temperatures finally stopped and it got to feel like fall. But our little graphic here was just our weather story for the day, where we highlighted our high temperatures for September 6th and some plan and preparedness actions that people should follow if they had to be out and about, or if they had dogs or babies, kids, that they were going to be taking. Just, little things to remind them of what to do when it's this hot. Now, October, finally, we started getting some cooler weather, but we also started seeing some storminess. So the first week of the month was pretty stormy and unsettled. We even issued several severe thunderstorm warnings across the area, which is not out of the question, but it is kind of unusual, especially in October. By the second week of the month, the storminess generally came to an end, but the instability remained because we started seeing more cooler air move in up aloft, and that kind of provides instability in the atmosphere, which is what allows, rain showers, thunderstorms, that kind of thing. On October 9th, a keen-eyed member of the public, Mr. Mark Tabor, who provided us this lovely picture, spotted a funnel cloud over the Uncompahgre Plateau. And actually this picture was taken on Highway 50, looking west toward the Uncompahgre Plateau, somewhere between Canada Creek and Whitewater. And if you can't see this picture very well because it is a little bit blurry, there will also be PDFs of the actual climate summary document uploaded online, and you can go there and take a real close look because it's kind of neat. The radar imagery wasn't too much to look at, but obviously there was enough oomph in the atmosphere to make this little rotating storm that dropped a funnel cloud. The atmosphere is pretty cool. It can do a whole lot with not much, but it can also do not much with a whole lot. It's always something new. And then for our November story of the month, freezing drizzle in central Colorado mountains. So, as with October, and kind of punctuated the whole fall season, it was this roller coaster between very stormy, very unsettled, cooler weather, followed by a couple of days of high pressure, quiet, a little bit warmer. And it just so happened that October and November both happened to start with this more unsettled period. So the month of November actually kicked off with a pretty messy winter storm. It brought mountain snow and it brought valley rain, along with actually some of the valleys seeing a transition to snow towards the end of the system as colder air worked in. What wasn't quite as expected was actually an outbreak of freezing drizzle across portions of the central Colorado mountains. On the morning of the 5th, this was on the very back side of this system as it was pushing out into eastern Colorado and out into the plains. Reports actually began coming in from Vail and other areas of a similar elevation that they had glazed roads and sidewalks. Up at pass level on Vail Pass, it was still snowing. At lower elevations, it was still raining. It just so happened that Vail was right at the right elevation to see this freezing drizzle period. This was a Saturday morning, which was good. It meant that there wasn't as much of a worry for commuters for people traveling on I-70. But I mean, if you were going out on a Saturday morning for something like brunch, I mean, I like going out for brunch on a Saturday morning, it really made for a pretty messy morning if you had to travel. Now, I really like the fact that the fall season was exactly what you would think as far as temperatures are concerned, at least based on the highs and the lows. The highest highs occurred right at the beginning of September. The lowest lows occurred right at the end of November. Beautiful. So getting into it, as I mentioned previously, we had that early September hot spell. Our highest high of the season was 103 in Canyonlands on the 6th. And our coolest high of the season, for a given value of cool, was 88 in Aspen on both the 6th and the 7th. And as you can see, that hot spell, that really, really hot spell, lasted from about the 4th through the 7th, but mainly the 6th and a little bit on the 5th were when the hottest hot temperatures were. Coldest temperatures! We went from pretty darn hot to pretty darn cold. We had a very cold air mass move in behind another relatively messy system at the end of November, bringing the coldest temperatures of the season. The warmest cold temperature was in Grand Junction on the 19th and the 20th, and that was a balmy 16 degrees. And the coldest cold temperature occurred in Meeker on the 30th, and that was -9. Most of these temperatures occurred on the 30th of November. This was with some pretty Arctic air being dragged in behind the system, but we also had a slightly less impressive cold air outbreak about a week before, which is where you get these ones on the 19th and the 20th and the 21st. Precipitation. Doing okay. We saw more places have above normal precipitation than below normal precipitation. With 7 seeing above, 3 seeing below. Rifle came in as our big winner with almost 6 inches of precipitation. That's 2.7 almost inches above normal. It's a lot of precipitation, and it's good to see. Vernal came in at the bottom with just 2.3 inches of precipitation roughly, which was about 0.45 inches below normal. But we have also seen, looking at some of the contemporaneous co-op sites in the town of Vernal, that the automated station we have there may be underdoing the precipitation a little bit, so it may not be quite this drastic. Cortez came in almost 3/4 of an inch below normal, and I don't have an explanation for that one. It was just a little dry down there. But overall, pretty good news as far as drought and snowpack and that kind of thing, which you'll definitely see if you've caught the December monthly climate summary. Did my mouse leave again? Hang on. There we go. Come on. Winter 2022 drought outlook, our seasonal drought outlook. The areas that are just in white, these are areas that are in D0 or abnormally dry. It's not actually a drought category, or what is affectionately known as D-nada, or just no drought. So they don't have a drought tendency because there is no drought there, and they're not expecting any drought to reappear. Eastern Utah and portions of the Four Corners and northwest Colorado are looking at seeing either drought removal completely over the course of the winter, or seeing drought improvement, even though we're still going to see some drought remaining. Good news. Overall, really good news, and we have started to see this in December with some very, very moist systems coming through and putting down a lot of precipitation. But all of this is assuming that this moist and unsettled pattern continues for the whole of the winter season, so definitely come back and catch my winter summary in March. As far as the temperature outlooks, we have a slight tendency for the majority of the area of eastern Utah, western Colorado, looking at above normal temperatures, with the northernmost portions of the area seeing equal chances of either above or below. As far as precipitation is concerned, the vast majority of the area is actually looking at equal chances of above or below normal precipitation, while the southern portions of the areas, the Four Corners up into the San Juans and the Southern Divide, are looking at a slight tendency towards below normal precipitation. This is a riff on a pretty classic La Nina winter pattern. But we've also been seeing some unusual aspects to this winter, with it being a triple dip La Nina, and that hasn't happened very often. I think out of the whole record, there's 4 since 1950. There's only been 3, so we don't really have a sample size to say this is what a third La Nina winter does. So only slight tendencies towards either end. This could change each month as an individual thing. Obviously, with December, we've seen that it's definitely been overall wetter than average, and temperature-wise really depends on where you were. So, until next season, catch you all in March, and Happy New Year. Enjoy 2023. Hopefully I'll have more good news for you in March. That would be really great. See ya.